So in describing Trump's March madness, first I look at his chart, and of course we already know the first half has been pretty crazy, full of all kinds of problems, some as a result of his past actions, some self-created, some the usual stuff he does. But if we look at his recent apparent victory, when he declared a national emergency, and the result was a pretty big market recovery. Now we look forward from here, and in order to see, we look at his natal chart for where the hotspots are. And you've heard me say in other videos that the key area is where this dotted line is, because planets are grouping so that they'll be opposite his Saturn-Venus conjunction in the 12th sign. And that is true. That's where Mars is going, and this is where I've said that around the spring equinox it's going to be there, and it's very likely to signify a tough time. But there is also the T-square formed by the planets with the smaller circles, Neptune, Mercury, and Eris. That is actually the trickiest part of Trump's chart. And when planets are earlier in here, that also aggravates the situation. So those are the two areas to consider. Now, if we look at the moving astrological clock, and we start with Sunday morning in the Pacific zone, although this would be about noon in the Eastern time zone, then we see that the moon is in Sagittarius. That's not particularly good for him, but it's not bad. Somewhere in the middle, it's fair. However, by the time we get to Monday morning, now the moon is in Capricorn, and that is not nearly as good. That's a sign he doesn't like. In fact, it's the sign where all this action is taking place. So even before the Mars reaches the 23rd or so degree, where it'll start to really intensify, the moon does go through there, which he doesn't like. So we've got Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday, it's crossing through those degrees. None of that is good. Now we get to Thursday, and the moon is in Aquarius. Mars is not quite there, so Thursday might be a respite day, maybe. By Friday, the Mars is now getting really close, and it's starting to turn this thing on. And then certainly, by the time we get into Saturday, now we have the Pisces moon, which again is not a favorable sign for him. Saturday and Sunday are not great days. And by then, Mars is fully in and playing a major aggravating role. So that takes it into the Monday as well, and probably Tuesday. And then you'd think, well, that could be a respite, and perhaps it will be to some extent. Problem he has then is by then you see the moon in Aries over here, another sign that triggers those cardinal degrees. And moreover, you've got now the sun as a moving point entering the 5 to 10 cardinal area where he has his trickiest T-square, and that takes it all the way through till pretty much the end of the month. So you look at this and you pretty much see that the rest of the month is hard. It's quite tricky. There's no question. Now, of course, if you're saying, does this mean that April is going to be better? Not really, but I'll take that up in the upcoming videos.